Welcome back to Pro Gun Live. Today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025. And as usual, we'll wait for a couple people to join. And we'll get started in just a minute. And we do our live stream every Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock Eastern till 1 o'clock. I know this is a Labor Day weekend, so I don't know how many people are going to join, but I figured I would do it anyway because people look forward to this stream every week. And we'll do what we usually do. It's an open format, but we'll go over some gun news first, and then we'll have discussions. If you're new to the stream, please subscribe to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. Again, it does not show me who is on the chat, only the number of people. So unless you identify yourself and say hello, I can't reach out and give you a shout out. And depending on how many people join, we may cut it short. I understand it's Labor Day weekend, so a lot of people just may not be around. All right, we have some people now, so we'll get started. So we'll do what we normally do. We'll talk about some gun news. And hello, Gug. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. I live in the great state of Tennessee, and Tennessee had a huge Second Amendment win this week. On last Friday, and good morning to you, my pub. Thank you for joining again. So the state of Tennessee had some huge Second Amendment wins last week. We had a stupid thing on the books called the intent to go armed. And it's been on the books for about 100 years, and they've never removed it. And even though you don't need a permit to carry in Tennessee, if they wanted to charge you with carrying a firearm, they can use the intent to go armed, and that was just really stupid. Well, the courts ruled that that is unconstitutional, so as of last Friday, the intent to go armed can no longer be enforced, which is awesome. And hello to you, Flying SEO. Thank you for joining. And the other Second Amendment win was it was illegal to carry a firearm in the Tennessee state parks. And the court also ruled that was unconstitutional. And Thomas, hello to you too. Thanks for joining. The argument was that a park should be a safe place like a school. And the court ruled, yeah, no. The difference between a park and a school is that parents are not required to take their kids to parks. So that's awesome. And now the state of Tennessee is a true constitutional carry state. And Radhi Shaham, thanks for joining, brother. I'm not even going to answer your question there, Gil. I'm not even answering that. I don't know whether you're busting my balls or not, but whatever. Yes, we do have bears in Tennessee. We have lots of black bears. The woods across the street from my house has bobcats and mountain lions. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the woods here. And Miko Mappy, thank you for joining. Appreciate that. So anyway, you have some of these dumbass laws, and it's not just Tennessee. It's every state has them. But, that was just a stupid law that if they wanted to make an example out of you, they could have. Yeah, well, the logic was that if you're in a state park, you should be able to defend yourself and your family, right? I mean, we have mountain lions and bobcats and coyotes in the woods across the street from me. And I'm sure there's, we have a lot of black bear in Tennessee. It's just a huge win for us. And Miko Mappy, where am I from? I'm originally from the communist state of New Jersey. Yeah, good luck with that in California. The shooting in Minnesota, it kills me every time things like that happen, especially when the firearms were purchased legally. And here we go, all go over again with everybody wanting to take our guns away. And it just, our hearts reach out to the families and all, but, it's just another strike against gun owners. Thomas Simmons, you're from Nutley. Awesome. We're from Elmwood Park. All right. I have a bunch of products that were sent to me to review this week. I got stuff from Klinger Holster. They sent me a bunch of products, so I'll be reviewing them soon. One thing I want to talk about is I'm a huge fan of the Ruger RXM. I love my Glocks, don't get me wrong, but for $350, the Ruger RXM is about as close to a Glock as you're going to get. And when I go on these gun forums, maybe it's me because I'm old school, but these people are buying $350 guns and they're spending, $400 for grip modules and, they're upgrading triggers and barrels. And I don't understand the logic of spending $700 to upgrade a $350 gun. Why don't you just buy a better gun? I just don't get it. The other thing I don't understand is I start looking at gun forums. I guess everybody wants to be the cool kid on the block. And these people have these big-ass weapon lights. Some of them look like baseball bats. And it's just comical. And hello, Dale. Thank you for joining. I appreciate everybody that joined today. I know it's a Labor Day weekend. There's a lot of other things you all could be doing. And I'm just glad that you decided to spend some time with us. Thomas Simmons, you're into 1911s. Well, obviously by Pro Gun 45, I do love the 45s, and I love my 1911s. And I just did a review on the Springfield Emissary 1911, which is awesome. You may want to check that out if you haven't subscribed to the channel. please do so and turn on notifications so you get notified every time we release a video. But that Springfield Emissary, that is a badass 1911. You can't go wrong with a 1911, Thomas. In my opinion, the 1911 is the best trigger in the world out of the box. Even a cheap 1911 is got a great trigger, and it's just an incredible firearm. I think everybody should have one. And Miko Mappy, I'm doing well today, brother. Thanks for asking. Hope you're doing well as well. So now we'll do what we always do, and we'll open it up to comments and questions as long as it's firearms related. Like I always say, everybody doesn't know everything, but everybody knows something. So if you have any questions, don't feel ashamed to ask. If you have any good or bad experiences, please feel free to share them because somebody may be thinking of getting a firearm that you had a bad experience with. And Miko, God bless to you too, bro. I did a review last week, and for anyone that's thinking of ditching the SIG P320, or maybe you thought of buying the 320 and decided against it because of all the bad publicity, you should really consider the Springfield Emissary. The Springfield Emissary checks all the boxes that the P320 has. It's configurable. The optics mounting system on the Echelon is awesome. It accommodates up to 30 different optics, and you haven't heard one negative thing about it, especially with negligent discharges. Again, if any of y'all have suggestions on pistols, I'm all for it because, like I said, every time I go to a gun store, it's getting harder and harder for me to find something to get because they just seem to be all the same. And maybe it's just because I own a lot of guns. I don't know what you're talking about, Miko, about the rifle 50 cal. I don't understand what you mean, how much. So this stream is for you guys. So if you have any firearms you want to discuss or ask questions about, feel free to do so. Damien, I'm reading your comment, and I apologize if I missed some of the comments. I try watching them on my laptop, and sometimes they scroll by really quickly. Yeah, I'm sure some of the Russian guns are very well made. I know the the Turkish guns are very well made. I just don't have any experience with them. I still have my sights set on a 357 lever action, and I'm still torn between the Henry Big Boy and the Marlin, but I'm leaning towards the Marlin. Chiz 33, thank you for joining. What is my go-to caliber for everyday carry? Pro Gun 45. If I'm not carrying a 45, I'm carrying a 10. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Colts or Heckler Koch or CZ. I'm waiting for CZ to come out with a 10 millimeter. I mean, they have a 45. I'd really like to see it in 10. Yeah, Magic Matt. The reason I'm leaning towards the Marlin, to be honest with you, is um, now that Ruger owns them. I mean, the quality has got to be great. I mean, you probably can't go wrong with either the Marlin or the Henry Big Boy, but I'm leaning towards the Marlin. Yeah, the TSUS is not a bad gun. My favorite 10 millimeter is the Glock 20, but that's just me. But I own a lot of 10 millimeters. I have the uh, Springfield Ronin 1911 and 10 millimeter. Um, I have the SIG P320 X10 Comp. I don't understand. I did not know. And what does that? What does age have to do with carrying a 10 millimeter in Georgia? Which brand 10 millimeter cartridge do I use? Uh, if you're talking about for defense, I use the Hornady critical defense ammo. Um, for the range, I usually use Blazer, but I reload my own 10 millimeter 45 and 357 Magnum. 9 millimeter is just so cheap, it's just not worth reloading 9 millimeter. I could get 9 millimeter down here any day, regular price at $9.99 a box. And by the time you buy brass and bullets and powder and primers, it's just not worth the trouble to reload them. 45 ACP, on the other hand, that's another story. Miko, I don't know whether you're busting my balls or what. We don't sell guns here, so I don't know what you're talking about, how much they cost. And that's a relative term, depending on where you get them. So bullets don't have a shelf life. Now, you can pretty much keep bullets for 100 years, and they're still gonna work. Well, tomorrow we have guests here, so tomorrow we're going to spend pretty much the whole day going gun store hopping from one to another. So uh, never know what I'm going to pick up. Uh, just 33. It depends on where you're storing the mags and ammo. I'll be honest with you. Um, I have a gun safe that I use just for ammo, and I have the moisture packs in it, and um, I don't have any issues with ammo. And good day, Thomas, and thank you too. And never grill Gil. No, I am not from the military. But anyway, um, when we have guests, especially people from the communist state of New Jersey, they're always fascinated about going to the gun stores here, where we don't need permits to buy them, and you can fill up your shopping cart with ammo. So it's always fun to take them to a gun store. What do I do then? What do you mean? What do I do then? Popcorn pirate. I don't understand. Um, I don't understand your question. Yes, New Jersey is a communist state, as far as I'm concerned. They took away everyone's gun rights. Um, their governor is a complete jerk off. What do I do for a living? I'm a computer geek. Believe it or not, I used to be a programmer, but I'm a data analyst. So that is what I do for a living. This is just something I enjoy doing. I love guns. Um, I've been involved with firearms for over 40 years now, so I just like um, sharing my information with people, and um, people look forward to this stream every week, which is why we do it. Um, it's just a great place to share ideas and information. For those of you who just joined, we do this live stream every Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock noon Eastern until 1 o'clock. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. Watch all of our videos, share, like, leave comments, because we get our revenue based off of how many videos are watched, and that's what allows us to purchase the firearms we review for you guys. Matter of fact, the last pistol I just bought, the Springfield Emissary 1911, I bought because of the revenue from the subscribers. So thanks to all of you. What do I prefer, Glock or 1911? That's very ambiguous because they're two totally different platforms. I love the 1911. I mean, for me, I would take a 1911 over everything. 1911's got the best trigger in the world out of the box. I love my Glocks, don't get me wrong, but a 1911 is just awesome. All right. What gun would I recommend for everyday carry in a state that has California laws? Want to get a Glock 19? To be honest with you, Quani, I would go with the Ruger RXM. The Ruger RXM, for the money, is probably the best pistol on the market right now. It is very hot. It's compatible with the Glock 19 Gen 3. Magpul did the grip module on it, which is awesome. It's got a flared magwell. It's also modular, so the serial numbers on the fire control group so that you can replace grip modules and slides and barrels without going through an FFL. The best gun I'd recommend to shoot every weekend without going heavy on the pockets. If you're talking about ammo, obviously, I'd go with a 22. You could shoot all day with 22. It's super cheap. But 9mm is cheap too. I mean, $10 a box. And Popcorn Pirate, you're going to go away now too. The Ruger RXM right now has got a compact grip module, and Magpul is going to be releasing the full size and subcompact. It's just a matter of when. So I look forward to that as well. But the Ruger RXM right now, I've seen them for about $350. If I didn't own a Glock, I would probably never have gotten one, and I would have just went to RXM. SpaceX, that's a really hard question. Favorite gun ever made? That's tough. I'd probably go with the old cowboy-style single-action Colt revolvers. Yeah, 22 is cheap, and no, it isn't much fun, but the question was asked to go light on the pocket. So, Kwame, uh, when it comes to guns, it's a personal choice, right? Um, Everybody has guns they love and hate. I don't care for the Glock 43X personally, um, but that's just me. Some people love Kimbers. I'm not a fan. Some people don't like Glocks. I love them. Um, It all comes down to personal choice, right? I mean, unless you're buying a High Point, which is clearly a piece of shit, or a Sky, um, it's really a personal choice. Just like buying automobiles, right? I mean, there's people that buy a Mercedes and they have trouble with them. Some people buy Kimbers and never have a problem. I did not have good experiences with them, but that's just me. Um, Small Cave Beaver. Do I like SIG? I absolutely love SIG. Um, One of my favorite 10 millimeters is the SIG P320 X10 comp. I love that. Um, with all this negative publicity going around with the SIG, I still think it's user error, and those negligent discharges is because of people with poor trigger discipline. I'm still not buying that guns just go off. So, Andreas, welcome to the channel. If I missed anyone, I apologize. It's not intentional. Um, like I said, I tried monitoring on my laptop, and it scrolls by so quickly that I don't always see who joined, and I don't always see comments. So if you have to ask them again, I apologize. But again, Small Cave Beaver, I personally like the SIG. So, and Sean, welcome to the channel. I'm doing well, sir. How are you? Thank you for joining again. I want to thank every one of you guys for joining our live stream, especially today. Um, it's a Labor Day weekend. There's a lot of other things you guys could be doing, and I'm just flattered that you guys took time out of your busy weekend to spend time with me. So thank you all again for that. Um, Also, it's because of you guys that our channel has grown the way it has. So thanks for that as well. And Giovanni's World, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And thank you all for sending the love. Sean, what's my favorite firearm? That question gets harder and harder every week because the more guns I own, every time I buy a new gun, it I like it. I would guess right now my favorite firearm is my new Springfield Emissary 1911 I bought. Uh, Obviously, with Pro Gun 45, it is in 45 caliber. In my opinion, I'm old school. When I hear 1911, my brain always says 45. I think getting a 1911 in 9mm is just sacrilegious, but that's just me. But that new Springfield Emissary is just awesome. It's a modern twist with a tactical look. Most 1911s look the same. I just did a review on the Springfield Emissary, so you may want to check that out. if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Watch our videos. Um, we buy our firearms and accessories with the YouTube revenue based on the videos you guys watch. So thank you all again for that. You guys paid for my Springfield emissary. And like I said, we have family here this weekend from the communist state of New Jersey, and we're going to go hopping from gun store to gun store. So you never know what's going to follow me home tomorrow. And like always, this is your opportunity to ask questions. You may have a firearm you're thinking of buying, or a firearm you had a good or bad experience. All right, Kwame, to answer your question, is 40 Smith & Wesson better than 9mm? Okay. And Magic Matt, I will get to you in 1 second. Bear with me. So to answer your question, I'm not a fan of the 40 Smith & Wesson. I just think that it's a stupid caliber. You might as well just get a 10mm because you could shoot 40 caliber out of a 10mm. And when it comes to better, there's not really a better or a best caliber. It's what you shoot best, right? But the 9mm has evolved tremendously over the past 10 years. Now with 147 grain 9mm, the 9mm has almost the same penetration as a 40 caliber without the heavy recoil. So what's better is really what you shoot best, because that's a very ambiguous term, because if you mean stopping power or what's easier to shoot, that depends as well. Magic Matt, any recommendations for a snub-nose 357? Yes, I would highly recommend the Ruger GP100. That is an awesome 357 snub-nose. Ron 2A Matters, welcome, brother. Welcome back. Yep, you can't go wrong with that Ruger Mark IV. That's a great gun. And I'm always looking for suggestions because, like I said, as my collection grows, and hello to you too, Jack. Thank you for joining. It just gets harder and harder. I mean, when I go to a gun store, even a year ago, I'd go in a gun store and I was like a kid in a toy in a candy store. But now they all look the same. Not much difference between one or the other. So when I go to the gun store, it's a little disappointing now because nothing really screams, buy me anymore. The Dukui, what's my favorite gun in my life? Favorite gun to me is just favorite gun, right? It's got nothing to do with carrying. So my favorite gun is my Colt Peacemaker. It is a single action 45 long Colt revolver. And that's my favorite gun of all time. And what's my least favorite gun? That's a great question, Jack, because I'm at the point now where I don't have any guns I'm willing to part with. But I would say if I had to pick my least favorite gun, it would probably be my Taurus G3C. I got it because it was cheap. It's a 9mm, so it's cheap to shoot. but it's definitely not one of my favorite guns. And my favorite gun, that's hard to say. I mean, especially for a carry gun. I mean, one of my favorites anyway is my Glock 20 10 millimeter. And like I said earlier, I think my new favorite gun now though is my Springfield Emissary 1911 Duke. What's a better gun, a 45 ACP or a 9 millimeter? Um, Depending on what you mean by what's better, if you can answer that, it'll help me answer your question more because, um, if it's just caliber, like I said, there is no best caliber. It's the caliber you shoot best with, and it's all about shot placement. And if you could shoot a 9 millimeter well, that's better than shooting the 45 poorly. And Ken and USMC, welcome, brother. Again, thank you for your service. We're doing well. Hope you are as well. No, I do not. I do not support a national sales tax on ammo. I don't care if it's used to pay for school police and security upgrades. That should come out of their budget, not mine. Um, so, uh, Dudkui, can you please elaborate if you're talking about for defense? The argument between 9 millimeter and 45 has been going on forever, and it's going to continue going on forever, right? And how do I propose schools are better protected? That's what taxes are for. Raise the taxes of the residents. Don't raise don't raise my taxes. I don't have any kids in school. Thoughts on 50 cal? Depends on what you want to use it for. I think it's a little overkill. Um, I don't see the attraction of 50 caliber, to be honest with you. There is no Glock that is the same size as the 19 and 23 that's chambered in 45 ACP. You have a full size Glock 21 and you have a subcompact Glock 30, but neither of them are the size of the Glock 19. If I had to choose, what firearm is my absolute favorite? They're all my favorite. I mean, that's a tough question, historian. And thank you for joining. I appreciate your question. That's just tough because I have so many firearms and um, I'm not willing to part with any of them because I love them all. Um, I don't know if I can actually answer that. I mean, I guess, like I said, my new favorite is my Springfield Emissary 1911 that I just bought a couple weeks ago. Um, but there's so many others that I have that are right up there. Um, that's the problem when you own a lot of firearms. It's just harder and harder. Yeah, historian. Like I said, somebody asked, I think it was Jack, the Probably the least favorite, though, is my Taurus G3C. Um, I just bought it because it was cheap, and I did it to review for people that are on a budget. Um, but that wouldn't a Taurus would never be my go-to gun, especially now that Ruger came out with the RXM. There's not much difference in price, and you can get a gun made in America instead of a gun made in Brazil. But I rotate my carry guns constantly. I switched out two of them already today, uh, depending on what I'm doing, what my activities are for the day. If I'm going to an area where I don't really feel comfortable open carrying, I'll carry one gun. To answer your question, Jack, no, I have not been in the military. Yes, I'm sure I'll like the 357 lever action. Um, I am leaning towards the Marlin over the Henry Big Boy. Um, the Henry Big Boy is nicer looking with the brass gate, but it's heavy as hell. It's like 8 pounds. Now that Ruger owns Marlin, um, I'm leaning towards that. Um, I also have probably 50,000 rounds of 357 Magnum that I reloaded on my workbench. So I do have an endless supply. That's a good question, Kwani. Are budget guns inadequate for heavy duty use and everyday carry abuse? Well, it depends on, let me help you out here. Give me a price range because budget um, means something different to everyone. To some people, budget is 300. To some people, budget is 500. Um, so why don't we start with that? But like I always tell everyone, if you're going to buy a firearm for everyday carry and home defense, um, get the most expensive gun you can. All right, that's a good price range there, Kwani. So to answer your question, um, the Ruger RXM you can get for about $359, and I would put that up against the Glock 19 any day. So to answer your question, uh, I would consider the Ruger RXM a budget gun, but trust me, it's made by Ruger. It's built like a tank. You could beat the shit out of that gun, and it's going to last. Big Boy Diesel, I'm personally not a fan of buying used guns, especially striker fire guns. Most uh, gun shops are not going to let you disassemble it and pull the striker out. You know what, Big Boy Diesel? You know, yeah, the RXM doesn't have the track record as the Glock. Nobody does. None of them have been out 30 years. But I guarantee you, it's made by Ruger. It's built like a tank. I have 40 years experience with Ruger firearms. I've never, ever had a malfunction with a Ruger. Um, and people have to stop that mentality. I mean, unless you're willing to wait 30 more years for a new gun that came out, to keep saying that it doesn't have the reliability and track record of a Glock doesn't make sense. I own Glocks. I love my Glocks. I'll never get rid of my Glocks, but they're not the only game in town. They're not the only gun that's going to go bang every time. And for the money, I own a lot of guns that are better than Glocks for less money. Um, you know, Glocks are like a cult. I'm not saying they do, but Glock could turn out the biggest piece of shit, and people are still going to buy it because it's a Glock. So, you know what, Joey? E- Everything is subject to a malfunction, right? And I'm sure there's been Glock malfunctions, right? You could buy a Rolls Royce that's a lemon. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect anything. But again, to get back to that, oh, well, only the Glocks have a proven track record. You know what? Yeah, they've been around for 30 years, but they're, you know what? I put my Springfield Echelon up against that any day. The Smith & Wesson Equalizer. I have probably 25 other guns I'd put up against my Glock 19. I'm not knocking the Glock, but I'm just saying that, technology now and um, gun manufacturers that are turning out good quality guns for less money than Glocks. I just don't think that Glock is the shit anymore. Magic Matt, what's the smallest caliber I carry? Um, I would say 9 millimeter. I don't normally carry a 9 millimeter. I normally carry a 45 or a 10. Um, but when I go to work, I carry a 9 because it conceals very well. Um, I would probably say I wouldn't carry anything um, below a 9 millimeter. And Edward C., to answer your question, um, I like Glock. I don't love them. I like them. Um, I'm just saying that Taurus is hit or miss. And the reason Taurus has a bad reputation, and deservedly so, they turned out a lot of shit in Brazil in the 80s, and their QA is spotty. I own a bunch of Tauruses that I've never had a single problem with. And I've had some that I got rid of because they sucked. So, yeah, Glock set the bar on polymer frame guns. I agree. But they're not the best. They're really not. I mean, I own a lot of guns that are better than my Glocks. I'll never get rid of my Glocks. I like them, but they're not the best. Jeffrey, I love the Beretta. The Beretta 92 is one of my favorite guns, except for the fact that it's heavy as hell and it's like a boat anchor, but it's an awesome gun. Uh, Big Boy Diesel, I'm going to disagree with you on that, and I'll tell you why. The Ruger RXM does not market it as a Glock clone. It's Glock Gen 3 compatible. There's more differences than similarities between the Ruger RXM and the Glock. Um, when they call them Glock clones, all they're saying is that it's compatible with Glock Gen 3 because the patent expired. But they're really not true Glock clones. They market them that way only because of the aftermarket accessories. I mean, a Glock will always be a Glock, and the Glock clones are still never going to be a Glock. But like I said, the Ruger RXM, I wouldn't consider it a clone. There's so many more differences. Uh, Improvised canine. My favorite rifle, my favorite rifle is my Remington bolt action 308. That's my favorite. And hello to Mike M. Thank you for joining. And I'm actually shocked that we have this many people today. I almost did not do the live stream because it was a Labor Day weekend. And I thought nobody would be around to join. So, again, I really want to thank all you guys for spending an hour with me this afternoon because on a holiday weekend, you could be doing so many other things. And I just appreciate you spending time with me today. So thank you all. And Jeffrey, my opinion on Walther, I love Walther. Walther's a great gun. Um, I own the Walther PDP. It's one of my favorites. Um, the quality of Walther is exceptional. It's a great shooting gun, and it's cheaper than the Glock. And for that matter, if you look at the Canic, I own a few Canics, and if you put the Canics side by side, they look like a Walther clone. There's a lot of similarities between the Canics and the Walther. And they probably share technology, because I would think that Walther would probably have sued them by now. Settle 787. I agree. I own the Walther PDP F series, and it is a dream to shoot. And I think they missed the mark on that. That's probably one of the most underrated Walthers there are. And by calling the F the female series, they shouldn't have gendered it up like that. I hate when they do that. It's a great gun for any gender, male or female. Yes, I have heard of the Tanfoglio. It's a great gun. I believe it's the same as the Tisas. It's made in Italy. I used to have one. Or actually, Tanfoglio could be owned by EAA. But yes, they are good quality guns at a reasonable price. Magic Matt, that's interesting. And I'm not knocking the Smith & Wesson M&P. My wife has one. And I guess it all comes down to what you're used to. I find the trigger on all the Smith & Wesson M&Ps to be very gritty, I guess. Yes, I've shot a H&K gun. They're good quality guns. I was thinking about getting their 45 caliber. I'm trying to not buy any more 9mm. For those of you who've been on my stream before, I'm not even a fan of 9mm. I just buy them to review them, and I buy them because they're cheap to shoot. And I already have 18 9mm. I'm done buying nines. I agree with you, Ultrafire. Hence Pro Gun 45. Like I said, my favorite new gun is the Springfield Emissary 1911 in 45 ACP. That is not your father's 1911. It took the classic mechanics of a standard 1911. They gave it a really tactical look to it. I love the grenade pattern grips. It's an awesome gun. That's probably my favorite. I also like the new Ruger American 45 ACP. I like my Glock 30. I have so many 45s, hence Pro Gun 45. It's hard to choose. There's just so many good ones out there. But yeah, I'll take the 45 all day as well. To answer your question, Nate, I'm old school, and my brain can't comprehend a gun that just goes off. And I'm sorry, but every time I hear of one of these SIG accidents, especially because most of them are police officers, and cops, honestly, are not the best shooters in the world. I always think of it as a negligent discharge because they used the wrong holster. A lot of these people put weapon lights on that require the holster to be a little bigger, and you get more shit stuck in the trigger guard. I'm not buying that the SIGs just go off. I mean, other than Alec Baldwin, guns just don't go off. I have SIG P320s. I carry appendix. I still have both of my nuts. None of my guns have ever just gone off. So I'm just not buying it. And that latest incident where the Air Force person was killed, I'm more concerned about what the government is not telling us. Quani, my favorite compact and subcompact 45 for everyday carry or concealed carry. Okay, I have two of them. My Glock 30 is probably my favorite subcompact 45 ACP for everyday carry. And second is my Ruger American. That would be my next favorite if I had to pick. But you can't go wrong with either. They both can sail well. They're both very reliable. And again, to those who just joined our live stream, thank you again so much for spending time with us. We do this stream every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time, and we run this stream for an hour. So it is 12:50 right now, so we will be ending it at 1 o'clock. So again, now's the time to leave your comments, ask questions as long as it's firearm related. I'd hate for you to want to leave a question but didn't have time to do it because the stream ended. So keep that in mind. And again, those who just joined, please subscribe to our channel. And thanks for that, Mike. Appreciate that. I don't know what an MG42 is or MG34. I don't know what that means. But like I said earlier, tomorrow we're going to spend most of the day hopping from gun store to gun store. Don't know what's going to follow me home, but it definitely won't be a 9mm. Almost any pistol I buy from now on will either be a 1911 or another 357 revolver. Well, I don't own machine guns, so I can't answer that question. They do have a new gun store that opened here called Tommy Gun. Spicy Tuber Chew. That's a good question. 5.7 or 1911. I bought a 5.7 just because I wanted one. I'm not so sure I would pick a 5.7 for defense. I mean, it's a goofy cartridge, right? I mean, it doesn't have it has less recoil than a 9. It's got a flat trajectory. It's made for piercing soft body armor. But honestly, I'd go with the 1911. I mean, the 45 ACP, that's a big ass hole, and that's a lot of blood. The 5.7 is also very big and bulky. I find it bigger and bulkier. And by the way, the 1911 conceals very well. Doesn't matter how big the gun is. It's the grip that prints. And because the 1911 is very thin, it does not print. Magic Matt, watch my review I did of the Hellcat Pro. Hellcat Pro is one of my favorite guns. I think it's got a great trigger. So, no, I would not be listening to that. And I didn't forget about you, Mike. I do not have any suppressors. I personally don't see any point or fascination of a suppressor. If I'm going to the gun range and I have to wear ear protection, then what's the point of the suppressor? My Hellcat Pro is one of my carry guns, especially when I'm at work, because it conceals very well. 357 SIG ammo, yeah, it's going to cost you. It's pretty much an obsolete cartridge. They're not making guns in 357 SIG anymore. Unfortunately, that's just a cartridge that is going to go away. And the more scarce it becomes, the more expensive it's going to be. And just to keep an eye on time, we have 6 minutes left. Yeah, that always amazed me about the handgun bullshit, where you you have to be 21 to buy a handgun, but yet you don't have to be to buy an AR or a shotgun where you could do more damage. But Jared, not only has 10 millimeter made a comeback, it it's so popular now that almost everybody now has got a 10 millimeter. And I'm relieved because 10 millimeter is my favorite cartridge. And, at one point it looked like it was going to be extinct. And now the funny thing is that the 40 caliber is almost extinct. They're giving 40 calibers away. And the interesting thing is that 10 millimeter was deemed too powerful by the FBI because they couldn't control it. So they bastardized a perfectly good 10 millimeter and they neutered it. They cut the neck off and made it 40 caliber. And now the 40 caliber is almost obsolete because 10 is making a comeback. I don't see why anybody would buy a 40 caliber now. Just buy a 10 millimeter and you could shoot 40 caliber out of it. I just think buying anything chambered in 40 caliber is just stupid. Honestly, the 40 caliber is, when people say it's almost like a 10, it's nothing like a 10. It's the 40 caliber is really in between 9 millimeter and 10 millimeter. It's a kind of in between caliber. Just go with the 10 millimeter. You know what? You can argue with me all day. There is no way you're going to convince me that a 40 caliber has got the same penetration as a 10 millimeter. Absolutely not. I agree with you, Jared. A full load 10 millimeter is nothing like a 40. I know the people that own 40s, they get butthurt when you say that a 40 caliber sucks or it's stupid. It's almost like you said something about their mother. But a 40 caliber could never be anything like a 10 millimeter. I mean, think about it. They took the 10 millimeter cartridge, they neutered it, they cut the case down. How could it be anything like a 10? It holds less powder. It's just a silly argument. To be honest with you, I bought the 5.7 because I just didn't have one. But 5.7 is just a goofy caliber. I'm not sure I think it's even ideal for personal defense. I would go with a 45 over the 5.7. I'm not buying that they killed a bear with a 40 caliber. Absolutely not buying that. A 10 millimeter will stop anything on two legs or four. You're not killing a bear with a 40 caliber. I'm sorry. All right, 2-minute warning, guys. We've got 2 minutes left. And I like when we have these debates because I like to hear other people's point of views. But I've done the ballistics testing and the gel testing, and I reload. And again, it's got nothing to do with what's better. It's always what you shoot best. And I do not agree with that, Jared. The 5.7 is not going to get you in trouble with court. It's not illegal. So if it's not illegal, you're not going to get in trouble in court. Magic Matt, thanks for joining us. You have a great weekend as well. And again, all you guys, I appreciate it. Have a happy and safe Labor Day holiday. Again, you guys could have done a lot of other things, and I appreciate you took an hour out of your busy weekend to spend time with us here. So I love you all. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you're new, come back. We do this every Saturday, 12 Eastern till 1 o'clock. So it's a weekly thing. So hope to catch you again, especially new people. Glad you found us. We do it every week. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Love you. Till next time.